Octopuses have 3 separate hearts beating inside their bodies, and each one serves a completely different biological purpose. 2 smaller hearts, called branchial hearts, sit near the gills and pump blood through them to pick up oxygen from the surrounding water. The third heart is larger and systemic, pumping oxygenated blood to the rest of the body and delivering it to organs, muscles, and tissues. Here is where things get genuinely strange. The main heart actually stops beating entirely whenever the octopus swims through open water. This is precisely why octopuses strongly prefer crawling along the ocean floor instead of swimming long distances. Swimming exhausts them incredibly quickly because their organs temporarily lose their blood supply during sustained movement. Their blood is bright blue instead of red because it contains copper-based hemocyanin instead of iron-based hemoglobin. This copper compound works more efficiently at transporting oxygen in cold, low-oxygen environments like the deep ocean floor. The trade-off is that their blood carries oxygen less efficiently overall, which contributes to their notable fatigue during sustained physical activity. Octopuses also possess 9 brains total. Cows form deep emotional bonds with specific individuals in their herd, and scientists have conclusively proven these friendships are real and completely measurable through physiological data. Researchers discovered that when cows are separated from their preferred companions, their heart rates increase significantly and their cortisol stress hormone levels spike dramatically within hours. They become visibly agitated, vocalize much more frequently, and show classic signs of psychological distress. When finally reunited with their best friend, these stress indicators drop back to normal almost immediately and visibly. Cows can recognize and remember over 100 individual faces, both cattle and human, and retain these memories accurately for years. They hold grudges against animals and people who have treated them poorly, and show clear preferences for those who have been kind to them. Research studies show that cows with strong social bonds produce significantly more milk and have measurably better overall health than socially isolated individuals. Their friendships follow complex social hierarchies, and younger cows often seek out older, more experienced companions as mentors within the herd. These are not simple herd animals following instinct. Dolphins cannot fully fall asleep the way humans do because they would inevitably drown within minutes. Unlike fish, dolphins are air-breathing mammals that must consciously decide to breathe every single time they surface. If both sides of their brain shut down simultaneously during sleep, they would simply forget to surface for air and suffocate underwater. Evolution solved this seemingly impossible problem with unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, where only half the brain sleeps at a time, while the other half stays completely awake and alert. The sleeping half gets essential rest, while the awake half monitors for approaching predators, controls breathing, and keeps one eye open to watch the surroundings carefully. After a few hours, the hemispheres switch roles. The eye connected to the awake brain hemisphere stays open, while the other eye closes. This means dolphins spend their entire lives never fully unconscious, always remaining half aware of their environment. They can swim, navigate, and surface to breathe while half asleep. Mother dolphins do not sleep at all for the first several weeks after giving birth because newborn calves need constant supervision and protection. Wombats are the only animals on Earth that naturally produce cube-shaped feces. And scientists spent years trying to figure out how this is even physically possible. The surprising answer lies in the varying elasticity of their intestinal walls. Some sections of a wombat's long intestine are significantly more flexible than others, and as feces move through slowly over approximately 2 weeks, these irregular muscular contractions mold the waste into distinct cubic shapes, rather than the typical rounded forms produced by every other mammal on the planet. Each individual wombat produces between 80 and 100 separate cubes per night. The cubes serve a critical territorial communication purpose. Wombats deliberately stack their droppings on rocks, logs, and elevated surfaces to mark their territory and communicate with other wombats through scent signals. Cube-shaped poop does not roll away like spherical droppings naturally would, so it stays exactly where the wombat strategically places it. The flat sides also make the piles more stable when stacked multiple cubes high. Wombats have extremely poor eyesight, but an excellent sense of smell for accurately detecting these territorial scent markers. The mantis shrimp possesses one of the fastest and most devastatingly powerful strikes in the entire animal kingdom, despite being only a few inches long. Their specialized club-like forelimbs accelerate faster than a bullet leaving a gun barrel, reaching speeds of 50 miles per hour and generating forces exceeding 1,500 newtons on impact. The strike happens so incredibly quickly that it creates cavitation bubbles in the surrounding water instantly. When these bubbles violently collapse, they produce a devastating secondary shockwave, a flash of light called sonoluminescence, and temperatures briefly reaching 8,500 degrees Fahrenheit, nearly as hot as the surface of the sun itself. The prey is effectively hit twice, once by the physical strike and once by the collapsing bubble shockwave immediately after. Even if the mantis shrimp completely misses its target, the shockwave alone can stun or kill small prey nearby. Their striking clubs are made of a unique, layered structure that absorbs repeated impacts without cracking, and scientists are actively studying this remarkable biological material to develop significantly better body armor and aerospace components for practical human applications. Koalas have fingerprints so remarkably similar to human fingerprints that they have actually confused professional forensic investigators at crime scenes in Australia on documented occasions. Under a powerful microscope, koala prints show the exact same loops, whorls, and arches that characterize human prints, and even extensively trained forensic experts struggle to reliably tell them apart without additional genetic analysis. This is truly remarkable because koalas and humans have not shared a common ancestor for over 70 million years of evolution. The similarity is a textbook example of convergent evolution, where completely unrelated species independently develop the same trait because it solves a similar environmental problem effectively. Humans evolved fingerprints to improve grip and tactile sensitivity for manipulating tools and climbing ancient trees. Koalas evolved nearly identical prints for climbing eucalyptus trees and gripping individual leaves with fine precision. The microscopic ridges increase friction and enhance the detailed sense of touch, allowing koalas to carefully select the best quality leaves by texture alone. This remarkable similarity demonstrates that fingerprints are a genuinely optimal biomechanical solution for tree climbing grasping challenges in nature. Axolotls possess regenerative abilities that seem almost impossible by normal biological standards, and continue to astonish even experienced researchers. These endangered Mexican salamanders can regrow entire limbs completely, including bones, muscles, nerves, and blood vessels, with absolutely zero scarring whatsoever. They can regenerate their spinal cords after complete severing, restoring full function within just weeks. They can regrow significant portions of their hearts after severe damage. Most incredibly of all, they can regenerate portions of their actual brains, including critical structures in the forebrain, and retain their memories and learned behaviors afterward perfectly. Scientists have amputated the same limb from an axolotl over 100 times in experiments, and it regrew perfectly each time. No scar tissue, no loss of function, no deformity whatsoever. Researchers are intensely studying axolotls to understand how they accomplish this biological miracle, hoping to unlock regenerative therapies for humans someday. The key appears to involve their cells reverting to a stem cell-like state at the wound site, then redifferentiating into whatever tissue types are needed. Understanding why axolotls avoid scarring could completely revolutionize regenerative medicine for human patients. Sea otters float on their backs at the ocean surface, and to prevent drifting apart from their group while sleeping, they hold hands with each other in an endearing display. This adorable behavior is called rafting, and groups of otters floating together can number from just a handful to over 1,000 individuals, forming massive floating colonies visible from shore. Mothers are particularly careful with their vulnerable young pups, often wrapping them securely in kelp strands to anchor them in place while diving for food far below. The kelp acts as a natural seatbelt, keeping the baby secure at the surface while mom hunts along the seafloor. Sea otters have the densest fur of any mammal on Earth, with up to 1 million individual hair follicles per square inch of skin. This incredibly thick fur traps air to provide essential insulation, because otters completely lack the blubber layer that other marine mammals use for warmth. They spend several hours each day grooming meticulously to maintain this crucial insulation. If their fur becomes matted or contaminated with oil, they quickly lose their ability to stay warm. Tardigrades are microscopic eight-legged animals, also called water bears, that can survive conditions that would instantly kill any other known organism on Earth. Scientists sent tardigrades into the complete vacuum of space, exposed them directly to cosmic radiation and intense solar winds for days, and brought them back completely alive and healthy. They survive temperatures ranging from mere absolute zero to well over 300 degrees Fahrenheit. They withstand crushing pressures 6 times greater than those found in the deepest ocean trenches on the planet. They endure radiation doses hundreds of times higher than what would kill a human instantly. They can survive for decades without any food or water whatsoever. Their remarkable secret is cryptobiosis, a state where they expel nearly all water from their bodies and essentially stop all metabolic processes completely. In this dried state, called a tune, they become virtually indestructible. Add water years or even decades later, and they reanimate within hours, resuming their lives as if nothing happened. Tardigrades have survived all 5 major mass extinction events in Earth's history, and will likely survive more. The pistol shrimp produces one of the loudest sounds in the entire ocean, using a specialized, oversized claw that snaps shut with almost unbelievable speed and devastating force. The closure happens so incredibly fast that it creates a cavitation bubble, a pocket of vapor that shoots forward at nearly 60 miles per hour toward unsuspecting prey. When this bubble violently collapses moments later, it generates a shock wave reaching 218 decibels, significantly louder than a gunshot and approaching the sound level of an actual rocket launch. For a brief instant, the collapsing bubble reaches temperatures of nearly 8,000 degrees Fahrenheit and produces a tiny flash of visible light through a phenomenon called sonoluminescence. The pistol shrimp uses this devastating weapon to stun prey, excavate burrows through solid rock, and communicate with other shrimp nearby. Colonies of pistol shrimp create so much collective noise that they can actively interfere with submarine sonar systems in shallow waters. During World War II, the United States Navy actually studied pistol shrimp extensively because their constant snapping was disrupting crucial underwater detection equipment near tropical shorelines. The platypus is one of the strangest animals evolution has ever produced, combining biological features that seem deliberately designed to confuse scientists. It is one of only 5 species of mammals that lay eggs instead of giving live birth like most mammals. Males possess venomous spurs on their hind legs that deliver excruciating pain to predators and rival males during mating season. Pain so intense that morphine and other powerful opioids cannot effectively relieve it at all. The venom is not lethal to humans, but causes severe swelling and persistent agony lasting weeks or even months. The platypus hunts exclusively with electroreception, detecting the tiny electrical fields generated by muscle contractions in its completely hidden prey. It closes its eyes, ears, and nose completely underwater, relying entirely on electrical signals picked up through specialized sensors in its rubbery bill. This allows it to locate shrimp, insects, and small fish hiding in murky riverbeds with remarkable precision, even in total darkness. The platypus bill contains nearly 40,000 individual electroreceptors. When European scientists first received a preserved platypus specimen, they genuinely thought it was a hoax. When threatened by predators, horned lizards employ one of the most bizarre and genuinely disturbing defense mechanisms in the entire animal kingdom. They shoot streams of their own blood directly from the corners of their eyes, spraying the foul-tasting liquid up to 5 feet at attacking predators with surprising accuracy. The blood contains specific chemical compounds that are particularly repulsive to canine and feline predators, causing them to immediately retreat and shake their heads violently in obvious disgust. The lizard achieves this grotesque display by restricting blood flow leaving its head, causing pressure to build dramatically until tiny blood vessels around the eyes rupture explosively and spray outward. This extreme defense costs the lizard up to 1/3 of its total blood supply, so it is strictly reserved as an absolute last resort when all else fails. Before resorting to blood squirting, horned lizards first try camouflage, body inflation, and playing dead convincingly. The blood spray typically targets the predator's mouth and eyes directly, where the horrible taste has maximum impact. Coyotes and foxes that experience this defense once often avoid horned lizards forever afterward.